Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Connect to Florida. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into numbers. We're going to take a good hard look at what the numbers are looking like in Collier County. And we're going to break it down. We're not going to lump everything together. We're going to break down single-family homes, condos, and also we're going to touch on manufactured homes as well, because there is a big trend and a push that direction. Will that take off? I don't know, but I will say the reason I did a video on that recently is there have been a lot of improvements with manufactured homes, meaning building them to what today's standards would be. So for a manufactured home to take 140 mile an hour wind, that's pretty impressive in my opinion. But most people do want to know the breakdown difference between single family homes and condos, just simply because condos have been hit so hard. Not all condos, remember that, not all condos. If they're kind of interior, so to speak, a little bit, meaning not sitting within 3 miles of the coast, if they're not in that mid build range 4, 5, 6, 7 on up, so a mid-rise or a high-rise. If they aren't those taller buildings, those simple little condos that are a little bit inland, they have not taken those big hits. And newer condos also have not taken those big hits. So really, with the condo market, there is a lot of this, but not that, which is why it is so important to work with a good agent. I tell you that all the time. You have to work with somebody that understands all this, because otherwise, it could cost you some coin, and nobody wants that. So before we jump into this, and I'm gonna put you here on my computer screen in front of me, and we're gonna go through all of this. So this is gonna have a lot of information. If you didn't find anything in the off season and you're coming into Florida during the winter season and you want to start looking, you need to know this information, because it'll give you an idea of where you could theoretically fall on the graph of good deal, great deal, bad deal. You know what I mean? So if this is the first time we're meeting and you just so happen on my channel, I am so glad you're here. My name is Barrett Pastor, and I've been a real estate broker for 27 years. So hopefully I'm coming to you from a place of knowledge and experience, and I can help you navigate all things Florida real estate. My team and I, we work with buyers and sellers. I get that question pretty often about sellers. So absolutely, I can help you sell your home anywhere in the state of Florida. And my team and I cover the entire state. So me personally, I work Southwest Florida, anywhere from Sarasota on down to Marco Island. But I do have a team, a very strong team, handpicked by myself, and we're happy to help you if you need a little help with someone you can trust. All right, so let's jump into these numbers. I'm going to flip this around so you can see the screen. All right, so let me pop you up here on my screen, and you can see this is Florida closed sales right here in Naples, Florida. So I'm doing the whole of Collier County, and we're going to begin with single family homes. All right, so here is the graph. I know a lot of people are visual and they like to see kind of the bouncing up and down. Look at that. So you can kind of see that, again, this is closed sales. So year over year numbers. So the closed sales are trending slightly downward year over year, showing about a 3.9% decline as of August 2025 compared to August 2024. Now, again, I'm going to say this again. I'm talking about Collier County. So down about 3.9%. So do the math on that. At a $500,000 home, we'll round that up to 4%. It's about $20,000. So you have to determine, how does that live in your world? And as you look at this, so the market isn't really crashing. It's slowing modestly, suggesting that buyers and sellers are being both cautious of interest rates, affordability, insurance, those kind of things. So cautious, interested, but also you're seeing a lot longer days on market. So let's just kind of bounce down here a little bit, and I'm going to go July 2025. This gives you the number of closed sales. So a little bit better in July, down 2.8. Look at this in June. In June, we saw a bounce up of 2.8. Now, why would that happen? Why would we see a little bounce upward? Well, the reason is that right around that time is when people started to kind of say, you know, I'm feeling like things are going to get better. I'm feeling like this downturn is not going to sit in the ravine here forever. So maybe I want to go ahead and take advantage of the summer market. Well, look what happened. Then we see it kind of turn from the negative to the positive. May, nobody was talking about that yet. Not yet. See, this is the moving into the summer months. So that was down 5.7%. You can see April here down 4.5%. Now let's move over into what is typically our season. So season, full swing season is going to be in January. So I always say shoulder season is October, November, December. You've got the holiday in there, so you've got 2 holidays. So you have some people that want to be in their home state for Thanksgiving and Christmas, but you also have a lot of folks that'll only come maybe for a week. They'll go home, meaning to wherever, Michigan, New Jersey, Massachusetts, wherever it is. They want to be there for Thanksgiving, then they go back to Florida. Then they fly home for Christmas. They celebrate, all is well. Christmas tree comes down. They are hot tailing it back to Florida because January, February is brutally cold. Nobody wants to be in that. And March is pretty cold in most areas up north as well. So let's look at January, February, March. How did that do? Well, this past season, we were up again in Collier County, 3.6%. February was down 7.1%. Why? What happened? Were there any major factors that could have affected that? So there was rising inventory during that time period. So there was definitely increased inventory. And as I go back and look, it looks like there was an increase of inventory by almost 14%. So that is relevant. The median prices stayed relatively flat during that time. And in Naples, it looks like, Naples at that time was seeing a massive 14.2% increase in inventory, but the sales were down by 3.7%. So overall, it looks like January, typical of what we see during season, up 3.6. February, way down at 7.1. Unusual. March still down at 1.3. So I just want to point out here too as well, I always mention on my videos that September is the worst market in Southwest Florida. Nobody's buying, nobody's selling, there's no interest. So last year, September 2024, it was down 12.3. We don't have numbers yet, it's just the beginning of October, so we don't have numbers yet as it relates to what it's going to look like 2025, but probably similar, not that good. So let me just take a little quick peek here over into the condos and townhomes. Do you see that right here in Collier County? So here is your graph. Numbers look worse. Definitely worse. We expected that, right? So let's buzz through these numbers. So September 2024, since we were just talking about September, down 20.7, and you can see that continued on even through the shoulder season. Still very high numbers, much lower than it was. So you can see here the trend continues on. December got a little bit better, but then it kind of followed the trend downward. There really is, you look at this, obviously it did not move to the positive at all. So what does that mean for you? That means that if you're interested in a condo and you buy it right, you can probably still get a very good deal. And the reason for that is that I always say it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy in Florida, because if everybody says all condos are bad, condos are a bad investment, condos are crashing, if you say that enough, it starts to happen. Why? Because people don't really understand that it is mostly affecting condos that are close to the water, within a couple miles of the water, condos that are older, condos that are frame built, you know what I'm talking about, they're wood frame, or maybe they have that shaker shingles coming down the sides, things that are not built strong for hurricane resistance. So the older condos that are near the water, and or your high rises that are older, that even mid rises that are older and near water, they're getting hit really hard because they have to be retrofit for improvement. Those are the ones that are seeing the most impact. But if you look at it from the perspective of, I say this to folks all the time when I do consultations, in for a dime, in for a dollar. If you're in your car at a mile out, if you are Joe and Mary Smith from Michigan and you just want to be on the beach almost every day and you don't mind driving because you're not going to walk 2 miles to the beach, pulling your wagon and all your beach umbrellas and your coolers and all those things, you're not doing that in the Florida heat. So if you're in the air conditioning in your car at a mile or two, get out 3 miles, get better pricing on the unit itself, get more amenities, because the more you go inland, the more amenities you generally get. You're probably getting something newer, impact resistant doors and windows, and your insurance is going to be a lot easier to obtain, and it will be a lot lower. So if you're in your car at a mile or two, whatever that is, then you might as well be in your car at 3 miles and get that cone break. You know what I mean? They show that cone all the time on television when there's a hurricane coming. Anyway, I hope that helped you. Let me know. I really want to know from you down in comments if you like when we jump in and we look at these numbers, because I know a lot of you are visual. I'm the same way, and I just kind of like to see it, grab a screenshot. That way when I'm out there shopping for houses, I have all the information in front of me.